Good evening, fuckers, and welcome to the next Train Simulator Classic request video, or as this particular video probably should be referred to, World of the Strange. I swear on my life, what I'm about to tell you is absolutely genuine. Whenever I do one of these videos, or I think there's been like one, maybe two exceptions, what I do, I'll load the game up, I'll set up the quick drive, load it in, and that's when I then take the screenshot that I use as the thumbnail. I then exit the game, put the thumbnail together, and then come back into the game and actually do the run. But this time I put together the run, taken the screenshot, exited the game, and put the put the thumbnail together. And I just thought I'll have a quick look at the channel just on the off chance, and there was a request from Nicky Boom 75. And it was the exact same route that I had set up. Same route DLC, same journey, same loco, same weather conditions, everything. That is properly freaky. I'm still quite amazed by that. But nevertheless, here we are. This is it. So, the route DLC. We are on the North London line, and this, I think, is the original North London line route DLC. So this is the one where if you wanted both of them, you have to get this one first. Well, you can do it the other way around, but there's a lot of grief around it. It's just so much easier to just get this one first, then get the other one. So for this one, we are doing pretty much the entire length of the North London line as it is in this route DLC. So we are going to be starting at Richmond, and our destination is Stratford. And a run like this, it's going to be all stops, it always would be, so no problem there. And our train is a class 313. I have finally got one of the pet emus. It's been far too long coming, and I'll freely admit the reason why it's taken so long for me to get one of these things is a bit cringing, but it is genuine. I had no idea what the top designation of these things were, and every time I was looking for them, that sort of optical illusion bit at the front here with the flared out it makes it look like the bottom of here like flares outwards. I actually thought that was what the loco looked like. So every time I would see an image of the 313, and of course it's completely rectangular, I'd think, well, that's not it, and I would just skip it. Oh well. Anyway, I have one now, so this one is the BR blue grey livery, and it is a 3-car train. Now, as far as the specifics, it is summer, it is raining, because hey, it's central London, of course it's raining, and it is 3:30 PM. So that is the setup anyway. Let's get this up and running. And here we are at Richmond station. Here is our 313. I love these things. I've always liked the Peps. Right, let's get this thing set up. The initial setup when you are playing this for the first time is quite the pain in the arse, to be honest. I'll put the destination lights on. I can't really change the destination though because it's using the function keys F7 and F8, and my function keys on this keyboard barely work. So now the 313 is a dual mode loco. It can use 750 volt third rail, which is what we are using at the moment. It could also use the 25 kilovolt overhead. Right, I've got to find the windscreen wiper controls. Oh, hang on, I think that's them there. Yes, it is. That's a bit too fast, I think. That's even faster. Okay, right, well that seems to be the slowest, but hey, you know, they're working. Right, let's get the set up. Right, get us into yep, right, so everything there is ready. The only thing that's not done yet is the DRA off, but let's let passengers on. So 17.5 miles from Richmond to Stratford, but of course, yeah, we do have an awful lot of stops, and it's going to take, according to the ETA, just under 45 minutes. I actually thought it was going to be longer than that, so yeah, that's not too shabby. Unfortunately, there's no passenger view. Still, now we do have the option of driver only operation or guard operation. I have it set to guard. I do much prefer having the guard there. So we are all set. Let's get underway. Let's remember to turn DRA off, and then let's get underway. It seems there is something else that I have forgotten to do. I cannot remember what it is. Right, what have I... Well, okay, let's try resetting. There we go. Right, we're off at last. Staggering acceleration from these things, and the braking is pretty good as well. So I am a big fan of the Peps, especially the 313. So the Peps were the second generation electric multiple unit, and the initial plan for them came around in 1972, so yeah, they were in the planning stages for quite some time, because it was another 4 years, 1976, when the first 313s actually went into service. Now next stop is Kew Gardens, so I'm not sure exactly how far away it is. I mean, it can't be that far away. We've got plenty of stops on this route. and yeah, it's a route that is only 17.5 miles from the very start. Okay, we're into a 35 zone. Let's get some more speed up. I don't think we really need to put it into Wakefield. There we are, Kew Gardens coming up in under a mile. We're now in a 45 zone. I think we can keep our acceleration as it is. So yeah, the 313 was the first for, well, at least a couple of things. So it was the first of the second generation emus. It was the first emu that British Rail had which was capable of dual mode. So, you know, able to use overhead AC and third rail DC power. And yeah, it followed a rather different design brief to the previous first generation emus. It was certainly smaller in terms of it wasn't as tall and it wasn't as wide, but this was so that it could use the what was then quite new Moorgate section of effectively what was an extension of the East Coast Main Line. So it was able to go from King's Cross through what was pretty much part of the London Underground to Moorgate Station. So obviously that was where it was first running, but they were so popular and were so good, no two ways about it, that they very quickly became used very widely around the London networks. There was also two other versions, or two other PEPs, the class 507 and 508, which were used up around Liverpool way, and they were staggeringly popular as well. So anyway, that was Kew Gardens. Let's get underway. So really the 313 was very much a case of a new train that did everything right. So we have a 378 approaching us. Now a few videos back, as the next stop is Gunnersbury, I did a video in the class 456 on the South London network. And I was saying in that, and I certainly stand by it, you look at the 456 and then you look at the 313 here, and you would swear blind that the 313 was the more recent loco. It looks more like a more recent one, and it certainly performs more like a recent one as we cross the Thames. And yet it was the 456 that was the yeah, the more recent train. It's hard to believe. Because really the 313 is superior in every way. Okay, so we're fine for the speed limit here. very slow entry to Gunnersbury. So, yeah, here we are, Gunnersbury Station. Not really much you can see around here, seeing as, yeah, we're basically surrounded by a multi-storey car park. Right, doors are closing. Here comes another 378. 378s are great locos, but well, at least they are in real life, but driving them in this game is not such a wonderful experience. So South Acton, next station. Oh, that was close. There we go, right, into 25 mph zone. Won't go mad on the acceleration because, yeah, the station is not even half a mile away. Okay, maybe I could have accelerated a bit faster, but still. South Acton station is quite the small station. I mean, I know most of them around here are, but this one in particular. So yeah, here we are, South Acton. Station does look a bit of a pit, despite the fact that, yeah, being Acton, you'd have thought it was, it would be an all-right area, but it certainly doesn't look it from here anyway. Sounds like doors are closing. Yeah, there we go. Okay, onwards to Acton Central. So at least we are in a 45 zone here. We can get a decent acceleration out of here, but yeah, barely half a mile and we are at Acton Central. So top speed of the 313 is 75 mph, which doesn't sound like a lot, but this sort of route that we are doing here, this sort of run, is pretty much what these things were built for. So they were never going to get the chance to, you know, go at any real sort of like great speed. Coming in a lot slower than I really needed to. So we start on a bit of a hefty uphill gradient, or at least certainly by the standards of central London. Here we're already on a 1 in 132. So our braking and our deceleration has certainly helped, which is fine while we are here. I think we need to put it into full service while we're here. But while we are trying to leave it, that's not so helpful then. Anyway, Acton Central. What a delightful looking area. Sounds very much like the doors shutting. Wait for the guard signal. That's it. Can't remember where the button is to reply, so we'll just bugger off. Now, me moving the throttle down in the series has not made any difference actually. This is another of those emus that drives very much like the first generation ones. You put it up into parallel as I did, then if you move it down, it's not going to make any difference. You've got to turn it to off before you can then lower it. Now, it's just occurred to me, yes, we are now requiring uphill overhead. We've got to change, so let's could have done with some sort of notification there. I think we may have to change the, put that into neutral, and let's put the pantograph up. Come on, get up. Right. Has that risen? Yes, it has. The circuit breaker is still there because I think I have to hold this down for a bit longer. There we go. Right, so we now have power from the overhead line. We can shut that. So now we should be all right. Yeah, we are. The other impressive thing, well, it's impressive depending on your point of view about the 313, is that its performance was not affected if it was using third rail, 750 volt DC. It was every bit as good using that as it was using the overhead power. Now you could look at that as saying, well, it's wasting the additional power that it's getting from the 25 kilovolt AC supply, but again, it doesn't really need vast amounts of power because it's not using, it's not building up speed. It's got great acceleration, yes, which you would certainly want, but top speed is not important. So we're now on a 1 in 82 uphill climb. We are fast approaching a 30 mph section, but the ground has levelled out, so we are going to need a brake to get our speed down. We're okay now. So that does now mean I now have two routes where I am not only able, but I have to change from DC to AC along the way. So we are going slightly slow. I mean, 1.8 mph is not going to kill us. We do now need to start slowing for this 20 mph limit for the entrance to Willesden Junction. One in 67 uphill climb, I didn't notice that. So off the climb now. Here we are at Willesden Junction. It's another rather small station. Need to brake fairly heavy for this. We're going to have to put it in the full service here. There we go. Yeah, it's a station that really is all over the place. Not a particularly good layout, but I guess they didn't really have much option here. Another 378 approaching. Sounds like the doors are shutting. Waiting for the guard. It doesn't sound like the guard is going to be signalling us, so let's just get underway. I didn't mean to put it straight into parallel, but oh well. I mean, in a way, you kind of have to drive this a bit like the old Class 506 from the wood headline in blue route. I mean, ideally, you really wouldn't want to be doing that, certainly not in real life, but in the game, yeah, you really do need to sort of wring that performance out of it. So we are in a 35 zone. Have the next station approaching, which is Kensal Rise. It's taking an age for us to even appear at this view. Here we are. So we are now in a 45 zone, but yeah, got to stop here, and then we have Bronsbury Park. I think it's barely half a mile further along the line. Braking way too hard there. Full service brakes again. So, Kensal Rise. Yeah, not familiar with this locale. I'm not sure how often they have the the cargo containers just lined up here like that. I mean, I can't say that no, it definitely doesn't happen, because yeah, like I said, I'm not familiar with this area. There we go, we actually got the signal from the guard as well. So onwards to, what was it, Bronsbury Park or whatever it was called. Yeah, there we are, Bronsbury Park. Just half a mile further along the line. And then Bronsbury itself, not even another half mile further on from there. So another uphill section, one in 161. Certainly enough to affect the performance of our train. So, Bronsbury Park, right here. Doors closing. Here we go. Want it into parallel. There we go. So Bronsbury, yeah, 0.4 miles. So yeah, not even half a mile away. So after this stop, West Hampstead. can go. Right, so Bromsbury itself. I mean, it's so close to Bromsbury Park, but if it was me on the train, I would have got off at Bromsbury Park, and that way I can have a fag while walking the rest of the distance. And that's bearing in mind that, yeah, I can't move about very well. So doors are closing. There we are. There's the guard signal. Let's get back underway. Head towards West Hampstead. And after this station, I mean, again, it's like certainly walking distance between West Hampstead and then Finchley Road and Frognall. Very small station here by the looks of it. So here we are at yep, West Hampstead station. So presumably is as in Hampstead Heath. Bit of an infamous part of London. Although, I mean, it always strikes me that the supposed infamous parts of London are actually okay. And the sort of like, you know, the more affable, oh, these are nice parts of London that I can't stand. There you go. So, on to Finchley Road and Frognall, which is, yeah, 0.33 miles away. I mean, that really is walking distance. Even I could do that. Well, we do in fact have Hampstead Heath coming up as the next station. So, Finchley Road and Frognall, well, whatever the hell Frognall is, I'm not familiar with it at all. Thought I heard that, yeah, the alarm for the doors closing. So, next stop is Hampstead Heath. That was George Michael's favourite old hangout, wasn't it, Hampstead Heath? I think it was there that he got caught on a couple of occasions. Pretty hefty speed decrease coming up though after Hampstead Heath. 20 mph max speed. Yeah, yet another station within spitting distance, and it is Gospel Oak. So does that mean, well, actually no, we're not going to be staying on the Goblin line. At least ideally hope not, because the Goblin line is not electrified. Besides which, our final destination is Stratford, not Barking, so... Okay, Hampstead Heath right here. I think we can safely say we are not actually within the heath itself. I mean, the buildings from the outside all look pretty rough, but I mean, you can bet your life that any one of the flats around here, I mean, you're looking at 7-figure sums for a 1-bedroom. The price of living in London now is absolutely outrageous. Okay, anyway, onwards to Gospel Oak. And let's hope we can get there in an electric train. Because we are certainly heading towards a line that, or a station anyway, that is the only part of which I know is on a line that is not electrified. So 1 in 98 downhill section. This is going to make braking for this 20 mph zone a bit of a pain, because as soon as we start coasting we'll be picking up speed again. There we go. And we are picking up speed at a reasonable rate and all. And yet another 378 capital star. I do seem to recall I have done a video in a capital star, but I can't remember what route it was on. Ah, well, there's a relief. So, the Goblin line, yeah, we turned off it. So we are staying on a yeah, on the electrified section. I just got a notification from Jim that his latest Train Simulator Classic video is up, which is a request from me, shockingly enough. I don't think he's had any requests from anyone else other than me. I think somebody should come along and sort that out, especially if you like seeing someone who has a very different driving style to I do. So yeah, Jim Plays channel, go and take a look. So anyway, Gospel Oak right here. And most importantly of all, still electrified. So that route there is the Goblin line. I've already done a video on that one, so yeah, if you want to see it, go and take a look at that. So very soon into, yeah, I forgot about that downhill gradient. I was doing really well again. No speeding up until that point. We were only 7¼ miles from Stratford. Anyway, we're into a 45 zone now, and Kentish Town West is our next stop. I seem to recall that Kentish Town, the actual main Kentish Town station, is on the East Coast Main Line. I'm fairly sure we go through that on the section from King's Cross to Peterborough. As I gave Jim Plays a bit of a shout out there for his Train Sim Classic videos, I think it's only fair that I also do the same for others. Mick DC, who has made plenty of requests on this channel. He does admittedly predominantly Train Sim World videos, but he has recently done a couple of Train Sim Classic ones on the Midlands main line, Bedford to Luton and back. So hopefully that'll be the first of several. And even old Laserjet Jordan has started doing request videos for Train Sim Classic. Okay, so that was Kentish Town West anyway. I don't know what the next stop is. Camden Road, here we are. So still on this 1 in 98 downhill gradient. We've got to really brake pretty hard here. We're braking against the gradient, and we've got to shave off, well, we did need to shave off about 10 mph. So there we are, we're in the 20 zone. So again, very slow approaches to some of these stations. So I don't know if this is just Camden Road or if this actually is Camden itself. Coming in very slowly here. And the ground has levelled out anyway for this station. In fact, it looks like the ground's fairly level for a bit. Well, half a mile at least. So yeah, here we are at Camden Road. Certainly looks like your typical sort of residential London area. It's all housing estates, flats, Again, you're probably looking at six-figure sums for a one-bedroom flat, and I'm talking high six-figure sums, you know, 800,000 plus. Yes, okay, we'll put it in parallel. Didn't really want to because we accelerate so quickly, we will be speeding before we hit that 40 mph zone. So we're into a 40 zone. Let's put it in a weak field. We haven't done so on this entire run yet. Caledonian Road and Barnsbury is the next station. Right, here we are, Caledonian Road and Barnsbury, and after this we have what was certainly the old Arsenal stomping grounds, Highbury and Islington. Yeah, again, very archetypal residential London. So just 0.4 miles here. We have yet another 378 passing us by. Another downhill section, one in 96. Another very short station platform here. Definitely needs full service brakes for this one. So, yeah. Highbury and Islington, absolutely no sign of the old Arsenal ground. Of course, it has long gone. Okay, just saw the door shutting. I think we've missed the guard signal, so let's just get back underway. Canonbury is the next stop. Again, not even half a mile along the line. Oh yeah, too slow with the brakes there. Okay, I thought we'd cut that a bit fine, but I think we're alright actually. Yeah, no problem at all. So yeah, here we are then at Canonbury. Next stop is Dalston. Dalston's one of those places where, again, it has a bit of a reputation for being a bit rough, but no problem at all with Dalston, it's alright. It always reminds me of that Bad Manners song. Madness had the song Night Boat to Cairo, and Bad Manners did their version, which was Night Bus to Dalston. Right, get underway. Dalston, here we come. So Dalston Kingsland, I think, is the actual station. Yeah, there it is. Oh, this is a really small station. But again, absolutely fine. So yeah, here we are. This is Dalston Kingsland. Next stop is Hackney Central. My old headmaster from high school days, he was from Hackney, or Acne as he always used to call it, and I used to hate it when he did, because back then at high school I had horrendous acne problems, and it always felt like he was rubbing it in. So yeah, Hackney Central, about 3/4 of a mile. Oh, no, that's me not paying attention. I mean, we are about to enter a 45 mph zone. There we go. So we're not speeding now, but okay. So Hackney Central, yeah, looks every bit what I expected it to look. I've got no problem with Hackney. I mean, it's not fantastic, but yeah, there's far worse parts of London. So I thought that was the alarms for the doors closing there. Definitely missed the guards belt, so I don't know, there it was. So away we go. So next stop is Homerton, and that might be the penultimate stop. Might be. I wouldn't bet on it, but no, Homerton is not the penultimate stop. Another, which is a really small station. Even so, I did brake a little bit early there. I think we've got the whole train on, but look. No, see the rear cars, the doors haven't opened, but look at that, you easily get off there, no problem. So that's 378, it's not stopping here. And away we go. So Hackney Wick is next. I can't believe I forgot about that station actually, but oh well. It's another one with a really slow entry speed. We're doing 25 for a fair bit as we head towards it. I think that must be the penultimate station. So here we are in the 25 mph zone. So yeah, Hackney Wick is indeed the penultimate stop. So yeah, you see very clearly the Olympic Stadium and the hideous red monstrosity next to it. So I mean, if that doesn't tell you that we're pretty close to Stratford, then the fact you can see the actual Stratford International right there should give you even more of a clue. So doors are closing. There is the guard signal. Off we go for the final stretch. Just over a mile to Stratford Station. So we could now do 40. I mean, let's accelerate a bit as soon as it jaws the power in. There we go. Can sometimes take a while to draw in the power, and that's one of the reasons why I think driving this is a bit like driving the 506, or at least you need to drive it like a 506. You really got to wring the power out of it, which is probably not a good way of driving these things in real life. You end up, you know, knackering the camshaft or something. So that green and the notification that we're changing line at these points here. The single yellow, which is to be expected. So 15 mph zone. Here is Stratford Station. We are way off to the side. Not going to worry about getting up to the buffers here. So in fact, yeah, let's stop here. There we are. So that was Richmond to Stratford around North London in the class 313 in the good old Pep. Great run. Yeah, I do like doing the North London runs. I do like doing the city runs, even though, yeah, I do tend to prefer the intercity, especially the high-speed intercity runs. But yeah, I've got no problem doing the city ones as well, or the freight runs, or whatever else, you know. Yeah, that was pretty good stuff. Let's see how I did. I don't think I did too badly, actually. I think I only got like 2 or 3 speeding errors. 3, yeah. I'll certainly take that. I mean, this is me we're talking about. I think that was pretty good. And as for the 313, it's a bit of a handful, but I've got no problem with that. So I like the Peps anyway, so it was inevitable that I was going to get this. And yeah, it's a great addition. So yeah, it's a win all round. So there we go. That was the North London line. I think that was the first time actually that this particular route. Not that, yeah, I mean it's not the first time North London has appeared, but it's certainly the first time this route DLC has appeared anyway. And yeah, the first time the train appeared. No shortage of these videos with, you know, debuts for both route and train. But yeah, there we are. So that is that video done, and we will see you at the next one.